Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're back doing another Dominaria Intermediate Swiss Draft League. And we have a lot of good cards in here. We have the Blessed Light, we have Llanowar Elves, Gideon's Reproach, and the rare, which is Grand Warlord Radha, which is also good. But those are the picks, and I really think it's just between Llanowar Elves and Blessed Light. And a little more difficult than you might think, because Llanowar Elves lets you play things faster, which is really good, and lets you play more expensive things earlier. But Blessed Light is an exile creature or enchantment, instant speed. Probably just err towards removal, I would think, most of the time. Gideon's Reproach I found so far to be really good in this format too. But we're going to go with the Blessed Light over the Llanowar Elves and see where that takes us. Alright, well, Traxos is a pretty cool build around, actually. And I think while Onslaught is a good card, might just take the Vicious Offering, take some more removal. I do think Traxos, like I said, is a legitimately good build around. You can do some cool things with it. It's super strong if you get the Voltaic Constructs, too, because then you can just untap it. So it's a legitimate early pick that I think can play really well, and it's colorless, so it doesn't commit you to anything, which is nice. It's easy to get those Voltaic Constructs as well. And it's a rare, which is basically the only reason I would take it over Vicious Offering. I think we'll go for it. It's a powerful card if you can get it going. Very, very powerful. Best card here. Well, probably Fiery Intervention, I suppose. Get a removal spell. Kills things. Not at the best price ever, but it does kill things. Sanctum Spirit's pretty cool. There's a Soothsayer, and we have an Ancient Animus in here as well. I do think the Sanctum Spirit is good. Doesn't have great synergy with Traxos, though. I mean, they both want historic spells, but you don't want to discard them. You want to play them to untap your Traxos. But Sanctum Spirit's pretty sweet. I think it's kind of it's one of those things where it puts the fear into your opponent, because they're like, do they have the historic card? Which does make it pretty sweet. Otherwise, we could take the Ancient Animus, which is obviously very good with Traxos as well. I think we're going to go Ancient Animus, get the removal. I'm more interested in figuring out what's open. Firefist Adept is a legitimately good card. You have to be, I mean, at worst it's a 5-mana 3/3 which deals 1 to a creature, which admittedly is not great, but it does scale, does tend to scale pretty well. You can take the Courser. Fungal Plots can be pretty good, but Courser's pretty awesome. Evasive and makes other things evasive. It's tough to go wrong with that. Fifth pick, Firefist Adept is kind of cool too, but really not dipping into blue yet. I think we'll go Courser. So why don't we sort by color for now until we've kind of squared away what we're doing. Okay, choices here rather are Shepherd, Adamant Will, Rona, which does have some synergy with Traxos, but it's literally the other two colors we haven't picked yet. I'm okay taking Adamant Will. I actually really like this card. I think the Sapper is really good too. I just like that Adamant Will protects you from removal on top of being a combat trick, which is kind of cool. I'm going to take the Adamant Will here. I'm going to assume it's going to be good. That's a late Reproach. So we can take that over Grow from the Ashes, Mammoth Spider. Seeing the late green may be a good sign. Blink of an eye in here as well, but we're taking Reproach pretty happily there. Okay, well, Serra Disciple wants a lot of the same things that Traxos does, but I may just take a Mammoth Spider here. It's a pretty good card. Probably the best card in here. Invoke the Divine is main deckable as well. It's cool that Disciple is a similar plan as Traxos, but we don't have to play Traxos either. And Mammoth Spider is pretty good, and seeing it this late might be a sign. I mean, we're already on to 8th pick. 8th pick Mammoth Spider is pretty good. So we can take the Envoy here. Seems fine, actually. Over a Memorial to Folly. Wow, Wheeling the Wild Onslaught is kind of crazy, actually. This card is really good. Can definitely get a lot better for us, but it's really good. So I think we'll take the Invoke the Divine. We could take a Primordial Worm and get a Fatty, but we can main deck Invoke the Divine, like I said, pretty happily. And I'm probably more excited about that than a Pierce the Sky sideboard. Alright, none of these cards excite me. I guess we'll take the Elephant, which can theoretically get Traxos back. Broken Bond, usually main deckable as well, I suppose, but I would rather do Invoke the Divine. So I feel like green's open because we saw the late Wild Onslaught. And we did a pretty good job of picking up some white, so I feel as though we know what our plan is. The problem is it doesn't appear so far that Traxos is going to work so well. It's still early, so it could happen. I'm going to actually take this Seismic Shift. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the cards we got. Wow, Shalai, talk about perfect. Work towards green-white, just open a green-white. Awesome rare. There's a Llanowar Elves in here too, but clearly we're taking Shalai. I don't like passing Llanowar Elves, but clearly I'm not passing Shalai here, so we'll take it. Cool card. Shalai is pretty slick. So taking over Llanowar Elves and Juggernaut, and certainly happy about that. So now we look like between Wild Onslaught and Shalai, we're looking for some token-based cards. Geez, holy red. That's a lot of red cards in here. Chain Whirler and Siege Gang Commander and Wizard's Lightning. If you open this pack in sealed, I think you go, Judge, can I just win this whole tournament, please? And they'll go, yep, you win. You don't have to play. It's alright, dude. You're good. Don't worry about it. And then you go off to the side and you don't have to play any magic. You just get to win. It's a pretty cool deal when that happens. I guess we'll take Aven Sentry. Honestly, we could splash for Wizard's Lightning. 3 mana to 3 damage to any target is just fine in my book. But Sentry flies, and there's no reason to hurt our mana base. I mean, honestly, could I dip out of green and just take the Siege Gang Commander? If we dip out of green, we don't get the Shalai Wild Onslaught stuff, though. And you can't really splash Shalai's ability, unfortunately. Man. That's tough. Alright, we'll take the Sentry. Well, here's our Voltaic Servant. I think if we got a couple of those, we could totally make the Traxos work. They're just so synergistic together. Otherwise, another Fiery Intervention, and like I said, the Grow from Ashes is something we could do as well. But I'm okay taking Voltaic Servant. Otherwise, another Fiery Intervention is probably fine as well. Or the Grow from the Ashes to splash for red. But at this point, let's just make a solid green-white deck, I think, and take the Servant and make this Traxos plan come together. Maybe even find some more historic stuff across the way, if it happens. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. I guess we can take the Worm here. I don't really like the Power Stone Shard much. Tragic Poet, we do not have any auras currently, so that doesn't really make sense. So we'll take the Worm over the Ooze. Ruinous Blast. Well, we do have some legends. Could take the Familiar. How many legends do I actually have? It's pretty tough. We have like 2. It's just too difficult to make these cards work, unfortunately. So I think Familiar makes more sense to us because it flies, which is nice. It works with Traxos. I suppose you could untap it with Voltaic Servant, but that doesn't really matter. I think it just sort of makes sense for us. So, don't really need any of this. There's a dub. We don't need another Invoke the Divine. We could take the Druid. Something to do with excess mana. Buys you time. We do have a pretty good late game plan with the Shalai at least. Seems unlikely I would play Druid, but it really does seem unlikely I would play Dub as well. Guess we'll take the Druid. For the low cost of 8 mana, you can gain 10 life. I mean, I suppose we could take the short sword. It does have synergy with Traxos. Not going to take the shard once again. I just don't really like the shard plan. I'd rather have actual mana dudes. If we don't get any Llanowar Elves because we passed a couple, I might just have to go for a lower curve, but I think I'm okay with that. We can take the Shield of the Realm here. It's more Traxos synergy, I guess. Makes double blocking more difficult. I guess we'll take it. Take another worm. Alright. Just take shards anyway, huh? I guess we could have taken the... I don't really want the... I don't really want the Tragic Poet. We don't even have any auras, so... Okay. So, things I'm already kind of prepared to cut are like... Geez. This pack's got a bunch of good things. But all we're looking at really is Adamant Will or Pegasus Courser. I think these Druids are probably gone. Protector's probably gone. So here we can take the Courser because it flies and lets us fly over top, which is pretty awesome. Or we could take another Adamant Will, but honestly, I really don't want to play these shards. If anything, I'd like to just lower the curve of my deck. So we'll take the Courser, I think, because like I said, it's worked really well for me. You just fly right over top. It's pretty sweet. So another crack at an Adamant Will, which this one we might take. Could take the Fungal Plot. Fungal Plot's getting cooler because basically we have the Wild Onslaught and the Shalai. So it just gives us something to do when our creatures are dying as well. It could be okay. Otherwise, like I said, another Adamant Will is probably fine too. I think we're going to take a Plot. We're a little creature light now, but I might be able to change that. And so far, I've been pretty impressed with Fungal Plot, actually. Another Courser seems good. I could take the Sap Herd as well. More bodies for Wild Onslaught and Shalai. And there's a Skittering Surveyor to splash for Firing Intervention. But I don't think we're going to splash. I'm probably fine just going deep on Coursers. I mean, I guess most of our guys fly already, so maybe we just don't need it. But letting your worms go over top is pretty slick. Could just take the Surveyor. It kind of... Even if it... I mean, obviously it gets the Traxos, but getting an extra card is just kind of cool too. And then Sap Herd, like I said, has good synergy with Shalai. Has good synergy with Fungal Plots too. Maybe Sap Herd makes the most sense for our pump effects. Multiple bodies, Fungal Plots as well. I guess we'll take Sap Herd. Here we can take the Migration. More Sapperling synergies. I also like the card. I don't like Llanowar Scout very much at all. Steel Leaf Champ. That's a cool card. Grun as well. And Call the Cavalry. All these are good. I might just take Steel Leaf Champion. 3 mana, 5/4 is pretty good. It's a rare as well. Flies right over top of the Courser. Yeah, I think we'll go Steel Leaf Champ. Gorger is good. We may just want another migration though. More pump synergies. This way we can sort of cut back on fatties and go more towards a... I might get off the Traxos plan. That actually I might be more okay with now that I think about it. We don't really have enough... Ooh, that's a late Blessed Light, jeez. There's another Voltaic Servant. We could still keep the Traxos stream alive. But I kind of, with a Shalai and Wild Onslaught, I think we just go for that instead. So I'm going to take the Blessed Light here. We're going to get rid of the Servant. We're going to get rid of Short Sword, probably. Well, we're getting rid of Shield of the Realm. Getting rid of the Elephant. You can get rid of these three. You can get rid of the Traxos. I think we'll just get off that plan. And then we don't need the Familiar. So that means we could take the Envoy here, just 3 mana, 3/2. Don't need another Worm. Don't need the Druidic View. Getting the Adamant Will back is actually kind of cool. But, so how many creatures do we actually have? The migrations, we need some more, unfortunately. So I'm going to take the Envoy again. We need some fungal plots stuff. I'll take up Pierce the Sky for sideboard. I can take a construct here. It's probably fine for us, actually. Guess we'll take a Scout. Not in love with it. Okay, so I think this deck's actually fine. No real ramp in here. I really don't count Llanowar Scouts as ramp, but we can figure out some cuts. I think we'll probably cut one of our Scouts. I'd honestly probably rather run a Construct. Maybe I'd rather run the Scout than the Construct, just get a 1/3 instead. Better with our pumps. So I could cut a Construct, and we still have like 16 creatures with this. These are creatures too. Just not creature cards, but still creatures. We don't really need the short sword, I think. We've got double pumps going, so with between Shalai and Onslaught, we'll probably be good. No ramps for Onslaught's gonna be tough, but even putting a +1/+1 counter on each of your guys is pretty good. And then we make one more cut. It could be a Scout. I think it's the worst creature in our deck. It still brings us to 15 creatures total. Only 13 creature cards for fungal plots, but we have the migrations as well as a sap herd to help us get more saprolings. So, and I kind of wanted to try this out. Like I said, I've been kind of impressed with it the times I've seen it played, and I still want to main deck Invoke, I'm pretty sure. So we'll cut a Scout. Scout basically is a 2 mana 1/3 that occasionally gets you one extra land ramp, and I feel like it just does not pay off enough. So we want to run 17 lands, I would think, and way more green than white. We'll probably end up doing 10-7 actually. Oops. They want to do 11-6, but I think we do 10-7. We do only need one white. I have no fixing though, is that right? We'll do 10-7. I think we'll do 10-7. Alright, so this is the deck. Not blown away by it. It's got a game plan. I just wish the Traxos thing I think would have come together a little bit better, but it's got early and late. It's got removal. It's not really missing anything that I can think of. It's missing Llanowar Elves, but we had to pick a Blessed Light and something else super powerful over it. So forgot what was the other thing Shalai, yeah. A Shalai and a Blessed Light. Those are two cards that I think are better than Llanowar Elves. So, all right, we'll run it like this. We'll see you round one.